What has happened at Ajax? It wasn't too long ago when Ajax rolled up to the Santiago Bernabeu and beat the hosts 4-1 in a Champions League knockout match. The same Real Madrid that was coming off a Champions League three-peat. The 2019 Ajax was every neutral fan's favourite team to root for in the Champions League. They managed an almost perfect ending to the fairy tale, but Lucas Moura then killed that dream with the last kick of the game. Regardless, Ajax managed to win the hearts of many viewers from around the globe that season. Things were only looking up with an exciting young squad, attacking football, efficient and profitable recruitment, complemented by a world-class academy at their disposal. Fast forward to this season, and it's extremely hard to comprehend what has gone so horribly wrong for them to be in the middle of one of their worst seasons in their history. Even if you don't keep up with the Dutch league, you might have noticed occasional stories popping up about Ajax dealing with troubling losses on and off the pitch over the previous couple of seasons. Ajax have dismantled their years of hard-earned successes and started to go on a downward spiral. They currently sit in 5th place in the Eredivisie, possibly out of contention for European slots for the upcoming season. The last time they didn't qualify for any European competitions was a decade ago. Before looking at insights into the factors leading to their downfall, it is crucial to acknowledge the rich history that Ajax comes from. Ajax has the most number of Eredivisie titles with 36, the most Dutch Cups with 20, and most impressively, 4 European titles. These accolades justifiably put him on a pedestal above any other Dutch club. They are only one of the 3 clubs to win 3 consecutive European titles. The other 2 are Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Under Erik ten Hag's management, Ajax rose to prominence again after facing a silverware drought that spanned half a decade. They scored a record 119 goals in 34 league games to secure the league title in 2019. The club was being heralded as the best run club in the world, and with good reason to. Apart from smart recruitment and profitable player sales, promoting youth talent was a core practice. Ajax were gaining momentum and exceeding its reputation in Europe when, out of nowhere, the first signs of trouble came knocking in Amsterdam. A popular figure at the club, their director of football, Marc Overmars, got caught up in a scandal. One of the most influential executives behind the scenes at Ajax over the past decade, Overmars was credited for a majority of profitable recruitment decisions and player sales he had orchestrated. This was until he was forced to resign due to the infamous texting controversy. Overmars had been sending explicit pictures to some of the female employees at the club. Once this came to light, he promptly resigned in February of 2022. This was the first significant blow for Ajax, as after his departure, it was revealed that Overmars ran a tight ship, with a vast network of agents and players during his tenure. These connections were never assessed through the club, as he had preferred texting and there was no laid-down pathway to be followed. A slightly panicked club hierarchy decided to assign recruitment duties to its 2 technical directors, Gary Hamstra and Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, assisted by Van der Sar. All notions of a gap left by Overmars were dismissed initially, and short-term fixes were deemed capable of filling the hole. Numerous agents expressed how difficult it had become to deal with the club with uncertain promises and internal conflicts brewing. While Ajax lifted the league title a few months after Overmars' exit, the club structure and hierarchy were under turmoil behind the scenes. Erik ten Hag moved on to Manchester United that summer, and Ajax landed Alfred Schreuder to replace him. The departures of players like Lisandro Martinez, Sebastian Haller, Ryan Gravenberch, Daley Blind and Tagliafico were too grave to address all at once. The late departure of Antony proved to be profitable, but also meant that 7 regular starters had left in one window. The incoming signings proved to be massively underwhelming. This also took a heavy toll on Van der Sar, as he felt the immense pressure from fans to justify the departure of 7 first-team players. A promising start of the season was stained by a club record of 7 games without a win in the league. Schreuder was promptly sacked after just 4 months in charge. Ajax finished in 3rd place that season after club legend John Heitinga took over, their lowest league finish in 14 years. The season also ended on another bump as CEO Van der Sar decided to retire. He admitted it was due to the rising pressures of the job that he simply couldn't handle anymore. This was another significant blow to the club's hierarchy. The next summer saw the arrival of Maurice Stijn, with an expectation to revive their identity based on attacking football. But the football on the pitch was far from ideal. Stijn couldn't execute his tactical setups on the field with any success. Club captain Dusan Tadic was extremely concerned about the lack of experience and quality in the squad. He fell out with the club hierarchy when once again valuable players were sold for profit, but their replacements were insufficiently equipped to step up. He requested the club to terminate his contract and subsequently moved on a free transfer to Fenerbahce. In hindsight, concerns laid down by Tadic were an important warning regarding the direction Ajax were headed. It was also reported that Stijn changed the official language in the locker room to Dutch. This was previously English under former managers, which seemed counterintuitive. The club saw the arrival of 11 foreign players who didn't speak Dutch. Ajax managed to have one of the worst starts to their season in the club's history. They were in the relegation zone after playing 7 matches. Another clue towards their looming downfall was the uncanny parallels with another European giant's decline that started a decade ago. Sir Alex Ferguson's departure from Manchester United overshadowed the farewell of David Gill, who was their chief executive. Similar to Overmars and Ten Hag leaving in the same season for Ajax, both situations led to similar consequences that were initially overlooked. After an inconsistent start to the season, Ajax hosted Feyenoord in September last year, hoping to turn things around, especially in front of already frustrated home fans. Ajax somehow found themselves 3 goals down after the first half. It only took 11 minutes after the second half started for the fans to wreak havoc and throw flares onto the field. The match was quickly abandoned, and the use of tear gas to disperse fans outside the stadium was not taken kindly. But the humiliation was still to kick in a few days later when the game resumed behind closed doors. Feyenoord scored with 3 minutes of the start and went on to win 4-0 against their toothless rivals. The Ultras visibly displayed their growing frustrations after that result. Stijn left in October after a string of winless results. Huntelaar took his leave soon after, citing exhaustion from working his role. The club's long-standing veterans were unable to recognize what the club had turned into. The inconsistent form has continued throughout the season, even under the new interim head coach John van Schip. The arrival of Jordan Henderson was also viewed as a signing that didn't match Ajax's philosophy. The transfer was made with the requirement of leadership in the squad, but supporters are unhappy and find it hard to recognize the values this great club once had. The top brass at the club hasn't shown much leadership in the face of his threatening spell of decline. This begs the question, is it going to get even worse, like we've seen happen to notable football giants in recent years? Or can Ajax manage to turn it around and build its identity back up piece by piece? Like most complicated questions, the answer to this is, well, it depends. The identity of Ajax lies in its brilliant academy, total football, youth development, and smart recruitment practices. The board has been blamed by supporters for a lack of vision. An inexperienced squad needs strong leadership, which is missing on the field as well as off the field. Even though this situation seems dire at Ajax, it isn't too bold to assume they can switch things around. One can hope that a team like Ajax can redefine its goals and climb its way back to the top where it belongs. The growing unrest among fans needs to be resolved with more transparency of football operations, along with justified reasons for making crucial decisions.